Good night, America. Tonight's number is 3.2 million. Today, there are 3.2 million more Americans that lack health care coverage than President Trump's first day in office. More U.S. adults are without insurance now than before Trump took office. The uninsured rate was 12.2% at the end of 2017, up 1.3 percentage points from the record low of 10.9% right before Trump took office. Now, here's the reason for this. The reason for this is a couple things. Number one, Americans have become more uninsured in the first year, and the groups that we're talking about are very specific. We're talking about young people, we're talking about African Americans, we're talking about Latinos, and we're talking about low-income residents. They were the biggest increase of those that were uninsured. Now, this shouldn't be a surprise because there has been an increase in premiums. Now, the reason Trump was going to tell, the argument that Trump has made since he took office is the reason why there's an increase in premiums is because the insurance market is falling apart. To some extent, the president's right here, but the reason why the insurance market is falling apart has everything to do with the fact that President Trump is the president. What President Trump has done is created what we like to call in economics is market uncertainty. Remember, he ran on this mantra of, I'm going to repeal Obamacare. I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to pull it up from its roots. So let's put ourselves in the shoes of an insurance company. So let's say I don't know, Blue Cross Blue Shield for the purposes of this conversation. Why would I create a product for a marketplace when the president clearly says that he's going to pull this marketplace up by its roots? That's like putting your product in a store that says we're going out of business. That doesn't make much sense now, does it? So what these insurance companies have said is, why would we create a product for a market that's not going to exist? So therefore, they've shut people out of the market. They haven't created any products, or what they've said is to hedge against the fact that this market might not exist in the future, we are going to raise rates. So to hedge against the risk of the market going away, we are going to charge the individuals in the market more money. And so if you're in the marketplace and they're charging you more money, guess what you're going to do? You're not going to buy the product. Thus, there are more individuals who are now uninsured. Now, to add insult to injury, while minimum insurers' participation helps drive the expense of the expensive insurance premium significantly increased when President Trump ended the critical payments. Now, beyond that, right? Remember, America, this president also ended the federal government money that went to insurance companies. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to be real with you guys, because I like to be real with Americans. The Affordable Care Act wasn't perfect, or Obamacare. Obamacare wasn't perfect. Nobody's going to tell you it's perfect. Any Democrat that tells you Obamacare is perfect, they're smoking something, and it's not a good something. Right? Because Obamacare was just one step in the right direction. Every other developed country in the world has a single-payer system. What we did is we went to the private insurance companies and we tried to over-regulate them and tell them what to do. What we should have done is say, hey, listen, insurance companies, you're out of business. And what we're going to do is that every American gets to have access to health care. They're going to have access to, and they're not going to have to worry about the bill because the federal government's going to foot the bill for all Americans, because that's what every developed country in the world does. Period. But I digress. So here we are, 2018. We're about 3 or 4 weeks in. In the President Trump's tax bill, he repealed the individual mandate, which basically forced individuals to buy health insurance, which now makes the markets even more wobbly, right? Because for the Affordable Care Act to work, those who are very healthy have to buy health insurance, even if they're buying, what we like to call, casualty insurance, basically the highest deductible possible. And God forbid, there's a natural disaster and an anvil falls on top of me. That's the only time I'll ever need health insurance. And that's what the youngest of the youngest, healthiest of the healthiest individuals will buy. You feel me? And now that the mandate's gone away, those individuals will no longer participate in the marketplace. So right now what you have is a marketplace where only sick people are buying insurance. Thus, the premiums have gone through the roof. Now, even with that being said, those who have enrolled in Obamacare is at a record high. Now remember, the president has shortened the window to enroll in Obamacare. They've shortened the marketing budget, but yet still 8.8 Americans have enrolled in health care. It still doesn't take away from the fact that less and less Americans actually have access to health care because there are fewer insurance companies in the market. There are less options for folks, and the president has done everything in his power to fundamentally destroy the values and the ideal of the Affordable Care Act. So now we live in a country where people have less access to health insurance, thus they have less access to health care.